It's now time for Party Chat Sports.
The only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
What is up, Party Chat Sports? Welcome back. It's your hosts, Dillon and Drew here. 2 out of 4 today. We'll see if we get a cam appearance. Later, Gil is AWOL, MIA, nobody knows. Busy baking cookies, maybe. Who knows? But anyways, we're here. We're going to break down Week 15. A lot's happening here as we get to the final quarter of the NFL season. Only 4 games left. That's the back half. You could say the witching hour of the NFL season, I guess, if you want to get into some nitty gritty. But without further ado, I think we're going to jump straight into game of the week. Drew is going to break it down for us. Lions at Rams. Lions sitting at 8-5. Rams at 10-3. Important game for both sides. Drew, take it away.
Well, it's big for a couple of reasons. The first being the Rams are the 1 seed. The other reason, the Lions are not in the playoffs. So why is this game of the week? Well, one, it's a very tight race in the NFC between a lot of high record teams. So for the Rams, like we saw the Bears last week, they went from the 1 seed to the 7 seed in 1 week.
That was crazy.
1 loss, 1 outcome, you drop from 1 to 7. So the Lions are sitting right there on the edge, on the outside looking in as it stands. If they're going to get in, which, as we've seen from the Lions, they're not as dominant as they have been in years past, but still a good football team. They're sitting there on the edge. You're looking at teams like the Bears, the Niners, maybe the Packers, maybe... You know, who else? Who knows? So
you're looking at Buccaneers, Panthers, maybe, but they're pretty much fighting for the division spot, not necessarily the wild card.
It's likely the second team of those two is not making it. But either way, so Lions obviously need to stack wins if they have any hope of making it, and obviously need some help from the opponents of the Bears and the Niners. While the Rams again in the 1 seed right now, but that could change with a loss. It will change with a loss. So if they want to be the 1 seed, get the bye, then they will have to obviously win this game. I think is it in Detroit?
It is. I don't know, man. You put me on the spot there.
And obviously
it's in LA. It's in LA.
There's the obvious Stafford versus the Lions. Strange little beef. I'm not sure why Lions fans decided to hate Stafford after he left. That's, in my opinion, that's super lame. That's a huge downgrade to the fan base. He did nothing but do his best and put his body on the line for the team. I feel
like they booed him like it was like a fake boo. I don't know. It's like they didn't mean it, but
they don't like Kelly, which is fine.
Yeah. She said some stuff about this. Yeah.
You don't need to boo Matt Stafford. He's never done anything or said anything to make them hate him.
He did everything he could. He
just left and won a Super Bowl immediately. So yeah. I'd probably be a little upset. But anyways, there is a little bit of Detroit
acting like the entire city wasn't rooting for him in that Super Bowl anyways.
Yeah.
So
as soon as the Lions were good, like after that, they just decided that they wanted to hate him. So there's a little bit of a one-sided beef, I would say. I don't think Stafford or the Rams have any, like, I don't think they hate Goff. I don't think the Rams are like, oh, Jared Goff sucks.
The Rams don't care about Jared Goff.
Yeah, I'm sure, but they're not actively hating against him. They don't hold any ill will, whereas there is, I don't know if it's all Lions fans, but there's definitely a loud portion that does not like Stafford for some reason in the Rams. So there's that. A little bit of a, I wouldn't call it a rivalry, but there's obviously some connections between these teams. And, a couple of the other matches this week and why we chose this one. Bills-Patriots, but as Dylan and I were discussing before, the Bills could still catch the Patriots for the division, but it requires basically the Patriots to lose out and the Bills to win out. So still a big game to kind of it's one of the only tests really that the Patriots have, and obviously they beat the Bills the first matchup, but the rest of the schedule that they've faced is pretty soft. So if they can at least hang with the Bills again. Not even necessarily win. I think they obviously have a good chance. But if they can hang with the Bills, that's kind of like they're proving. But like we mentioned, they really can't. It would take a collapse for the Patriots to lose the division.
They would have to lose to the Jets, and we all know the likelihood of that. So
yeah,
tanking
for Mendoza. So
yeah. I think another important piece, and probably a preview to next week's game of the week, is like you said, the Rams in the 1 seed right now, and we just saw the Bears in the 1 seed. They lose, they fall all the way to 7. A similar situation can happen if Seattle wins and the Rams lose. Immediately, the Rams are in a wild card spot. Not even worrying about first round bye or home games. They're in a wild card. So that NFC West is so tight, and next week is the rematch of the Rams and Seattle, which is likely going to have very big impact on who gets that 1 seed as well, because those are really part of your top contenders. So, yeah, a little preview there. This game kind of leading into how big next week's game is going to be.
Party Chat Sports game of the week, though, Cowboys-Vikings.
Yes, a lot of beef, a lot of history in that one.
Yeah. Cowboys have had their way the last few times, so hoping to keep that going.
There's a couple of nice
JJ actually had a good game against the Commanders' defense, which is old and bad. And they hurt Jaden Daniels again because he's made of glass.
And because the Vikings are dirty. They're dirty.
It ended Ertz's career. He just retired. He didn't actually, but he probably will.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some good games this week, but I think obviously we have the game of the week between the Rams and the Lions, but you're going to start to see in the next 2 weeks will be a lot, like you mentioned, Rams Seahawks. That's going to be a huge one. A lot of movement over these last few weeks.
Yeah, it's where it all comes together, because if we're looking at the playoff picture on NFL.com right now, really the field is pretty much set. There's a couple of things that can change, definitely, but who is in is pretty much set on each side, barring a couple teams. But it's where these teams land, because especially in the NFC, I mean, basically everybody's got 3 or 4 losses, and it's just so close at the top. It's kind of crazy. And then on the AFC side, you're looking at a playoffs that's got no Chiefs, Bengals, or Ravens as we sit here today. Which is just wild. And then even the Bills are sitting here at a 6 seed. And really, if the Colts and Phillip Rivers, we'll talk about them later, but if they can pull some stuff out of the bag and the Bills lose a couple games, the Bills could miss the playoffs in theory as well. It'd be kind of crazy.
I think the Colts in it right now, or are they out?
No, the Colts are out right now. They're sitting at 8-5. The Texans are 8-5 in the 7 seed, and then the Bills and Chargers are both 9-4. So they have a game. They have a game over those two. The Chargers doing themselves some favors, taking down the Eagles last night. But
so the only way for the Bengals to make it,
the Bengals,
they would have to win the division. Is that even possible?
It is. It's certainly possible. I was looking at this the other day. They play the Ravens. They would beat the Ravens this week. Then the Bengals would play the Dolphins. They would have to beat the Dolphins, of course. Then they play the Cardinals. That's a winnable game. And then they play the Browns. So the Bengals can very easily win out. But even doing so, that puts them at 8-9. So that's going to require the Steelers to likely lose to the Dolphins. The Steelers would then lose to the Lions, which is likely to happen anyway. The Steelers would have to then drop a game to the Browns, and then they would have to. They could win. They could beat the Browns, and then lose to the Ravens in week 18. So there is a path here that the Bengals can win the division at 8-9. It would require
that's their only path.
That is it.
Same with probably the Ravens. Basically, all the AFC North is win the division or you're out.
The Bengals play the Ravens again, and then the Steelers obviously play the Ravens again. So there's some interdivisional beating of the record that can happen. But I think if the Ravens lose, then the Ravens would lose. The Ravens have a very tough schedule to finish the year. They have the Bengals, then they have the Patriots. Then in week 17, they play the Packers in Green Bay. And then in week 18, they play the Steelers again. So, like, the Ravens may not win another game. They may not win another game. They had a graphic up during the Steelers game. They had the second hardest remaining schedule in the AFC. The Bengals have the easiest. The Steelers have the second easiest. So, yeah, there could be some chaos, but NFL.com gives the Bengals a 1% chance to win the division. So,
what about the Chiefs?
The Chiefs have an 11% chance at the playoffs.
But they're going to need Chargers or...
So I'll run through it. Well, they play the Chargers. So let's say the Chiefs beat the Chargers in week 15. Then this is just turning into a playoff machine episode, which is totally fine this time of year. Then they play the Titans in week 16. That's a pretty much a given. Chargers at Dallas. Let's say Dallas wins that one. Then the Chargers play the Texans at home. Let's say the Texans win that one, and then the Chiefs would have to beat the Broncos.
The Texans might actually kill Herbert in that game.
They might. They actually might. And then the Chiefs finish on the road in Las Vegas in week 18. That's pretty much an easy dub. And then the Chargers play Denver in the final week of the season. And that still doesn't get them in. So let me see. What would they have to do? Oh, because the Colts are right now at 8-5. So let's say the Colts lose to the Seahawks. The Colts lose to the 49ers. Let's just say the Colts go on a mean cold streak to end the year. Kansas City can still get in at 10-7. It's not unheard of. So,
I mean, that seems realistic, honestly. For the Chargers, that's a pretty tough path. The Colts have a grandpa at quarterback, literally.
This is also This is also with the Bengals winning the division. So let me maneuver this back around a little bit. Yeah, that only changes the 4 seed because in this scenario, the Chiefs finish at 10-7. But let's say the Steelers also finish at 10-7. How would they? Let's say the Steelers beat. I guess that's a division. I don't know why I'm looking into that. So it would come down to the Colts would have to fumble and then who else is in right now? The Bills would be in. It would basically come down to the Chargers absolutely fumbling it and missing the playoffs at 9-4, and they're sitting there in the 5 seed right now at 9-4 because the Chiefs would need Houston to win a couple of games in order for all this to happen, and I just don't think there's a way with this all shaken out that.
So the Chiefs are chasing the Chargers. That's basically their only path.
Yeah, I guess they could even jump Houston for this and get into the 6th seed instead of just a 7th seed if Houston were to lose out.
They need the win over the Chargers.
Actually, no. Houston would have to beat the Chargers, but even still, there's a scenario where Houston finishes 9-8, Kansas City finishes 10-7, and still makes it in to the 6th seed, in which they would go on the road to Jacksonville in round 1. So while not out of it, but the odds of, they can certainly beat the Chargers in week 15, but the Chargers losing to Dallas, losing to Houston, and then losing to Denver in 3 straight weeks to end the year is likely not going to happen. They're likely going to beat one of those teams, and all it takes is one.
I'd say likely.
Just one. All it takes is one. And
I think 2 of those teams are well equipped to handle the Chargers.
Yeah.
In their current state.
I mean, realistically,
maybe even 3. The Cowboys, we don't have defensive ends right now, but we got defensive interior, and the Chargers O-line was bad. And that's an understatement.
I mean, obviously it all comes down to that Chargers game, but let's say Kansas City loses to the Chargers. They can still make it. Let me just play with this for a second. They can still make it if Houston loses a bunch. So the Chargers could still make it in at the 6th seed, and there's a world where Kansas City makes it in at 9 and 8. So the 11% on NFL.com feels a little low. It does feel a little low. Because they're giving Houston an 88% chance, they're giving Buffalo a 96% chance, and they're giving the Chargers a 76% chance. So,
either way, these playoffs will be interesting. Some of the most interesting playoffs we've had in years. Most of the time, the 1 seeds have kind of separated themselves from the pack. It's kind of like that on the AFC but there's kind of 2 1 seeds right now that have separated. NFC is very, as you mentioned before.
The Broncos and the Patriots are still the only 2 teams in the league that have only lost 2 games. So.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the 7 seed in the NFC has 9 wins. The 1 seed has 10.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I'd say that's pretty close.
And the 5 seed has 10, and the 2 seed has 9. So,
5 seed has 10, and the 2 seed has 9.
Yeah, it's back to like when the Lions lost the division last year. Was it the Vikings? Whichever.
And the 4 seed has 7.
Yeah. Right now the 4 seed has 7 wins. Buccaneers versus Panthers is going to be kind of crazy.
Should we do our normal?
I guess so.
Basically covered it right there.
Yeah. So I mean, going into the slate here, the Thursday night game, Atlanta at Tampa Bay. Atlanta coming to the game 4-9. They've had to turn to Kirk O'Chains. Not looking too great. I mean, obviously they still got weapons, but Drake London hasn't played in a little bit. I don't know if he's going to be back or not. And then the Buccaneers, who the home team in this one, 7-6, number one in their division right now. They have all the reasons to want to win this game, and the Falcons have all the reasons to really not try that hard. But it's the NFC South, and I guess you never really know what's going to happen down there.
I mean, the Saints just beat the Bucks. That's pretty bad.
Yeah,
Tyler Shuck.
The Bucks are struggling right now. Egbuka has kind of flew under the radar recently of having the yips is what I've seen. Had a really good start to the year, not doing so hot recently. Baker is not playing very well from the looks of it.
That's what I've been hearing more so than Egbuka. Yeah,
the defense is not doing its part. Let Tyler Shuck rush for 2 tutties. It's just bad.
Maybe Shuck is just like that. Maybe he's just joshing.
I've been trying to tell Gil that for weeks now, that the Saints are not going to go quarterback because they have Shuck, and he has been in a denial state because he doesn't think the Jets can deserve or luck into a new quarterback. I don't know. Maybe there's something to do with that. But rather than that, Bucky Williams is back. That's been fun for the fantasy. That's been
Bucky Williams. Timing.
Bucky Irving. I don't know. I clicked on a tab and Caleb Williams' stats were pulled up.
Bucky Williams.
Bucky Williams. He's the new man.
Just picked him up, signed him off the street.
I wouldn't be surprised. But Buccaneers wearing the creamsicles, I think. And the Falcons.
I took a guess because when I was on NFL.com,
it's got the old logos.
Yep.
And it's got the old black Falcon with the more straight.
Are they wearing those too? That's cool.
Yeah. That's good. They should do that.
More of that needs to happen.
Yeah, Thursday night should just be a retro uniform game.
That'd be cool.
I think that's enough of that one. The next one, starting the Sunday slate, Browns at Bears. Bears 9-4, like we had previously mentioned, falling from the 1 seed all the way down to the 7 seed. Caleb Williams played very bad. I got a lot of heat earlier in the year when I said he needs to stop throwing the ball to the defense, and then I got yelled at to look at box scores. But they lost another game because he threw the ball to the defense when it mattered, and people just seem to ignore that part. But not good for his 4,000-yard watch. After 13 games, he's only at 2,908 yards, so he's averaging 223 a game. He needs to average 235 a game, so he's only on pace for 3,800 yards, and he would need to average 273 yards the rest of the way to hit 4,000 on the year. He's only eclipsed that number in 2 games the entire season. So Chicago going to go another year without a 4,000-yard passer, it would seem.
The Browns announced Shedeur as the starter for the rest of the season.
Yes.
Which is funny after losing to the worst team in the league.
But people on Twitter say they found their franchise quarterback because
it was funny.
They referenced all the quarterbacks earlier in the year that only threw for $150 because they were winning by 30 at halftime and stopped throwing the ball. But, context. It's not important.
I will say Shedeur has given more than Dillon Gabriel.
He is worlds better than Dillon Gabriel.
So, not that the competition was tough, but I do think that is the right decision as of right now. I think, really the only thing in this one for the Browns, Shedeur, whatever, watch him. Myles Garrett watch, though. The Bears' defensive line is not defensive line, offensive line is pretty solid. I don't know how they hold up in pass protection. I think they're definitely pretty good at run blocking. So we'll see what Myles Garrett can do. He's, I think, 3 sacks away from the record.
Let's see.
3 sacks, 4 games left, including this one. So
yeah, he's sitting at.
I think he's at 20.
Yeah, he's at 20. The record's 22 and a half.
22 and a half.
So he's only 2.5 away from tying it. A nuke's gone off of mine.
So 3 over the next 4 weeks. I think
that is doable, especially because he's going up against Caleb Williams, who holds the ball a while.
It's true.
And then
he's evasive, though.
He is. He's very. That's like one of his most redeeming qualities. In week 16, he goes up against even more evasive Josh Allen. In week 18, he goes up against Burrow, who can tend to get sacked. And there's a reason I skipped week 17 is because he is going up against 42-year-old can't move Aaron Rodgers, who also has the current sack record holder on the team. This game would be in Cleveland, so book it. That is when it's going to happen. That's when it's going to happen. So it'll happen when they're losing by 20, though, which is just the epitome of his career. I hope he's happy with it.
Still counts.
It does. I was going to say something else about the Browns. They probably should have kept Kenny Pickett. If they wanted to win. If they didn't care about winning, it's fine. 3-10 is where they're at, and they see where both of their draft picks are. But
listen, man, I don't know if Kenny Pickett's the answer either.
Listen, he made a couple fantastic throws in Vegas.
I'm trying to make it work. Preseason Kenny's not coming back.
I hope he starts, and I hope he beats the Eagles for you. You should be rooting for Kenny.
I do too.
Yeah.
Revenge game against his former team.
Against his Super Bowl winning teammates.
Yeah.
That's probably enough. Bears. Bears, they need to be winning this game to be in contention for playoffs and their division and everything in between. So definitely an important game for them. Next game, divisional matchup. Baltimore going on the road to Cincy, going into Paycor, 1:00 game. Like we previously talked about, Bengals not out of it, even though their percentage chance is only 1%. A very real possibility they win out and put themselves in a good position. Ravens obviously coming off a tough loss to the Steelers, 6-7 with a very tough schedule remaining. Their season kind of feels like they've gone off the cliff. they started 1-5. It's very hard to come back from 1-5. They definitely did when they were sitting there at 6-5, rattling off 5 straight. But the 2 back-to-back losses here late in the season really feels like it's did him in. Lamar's clearly hurt or not the same player he was a few years ago because he can't really run a lot right now, or he isn't running a lot. And when he's throwing the ball, it's not always successful. So we'll see. But Bengals already beat them once just a couple weeks ago. And, you would think Baltimore would come in and with still an easily ability to still win the division. They went out, so I'm sure they're going to play hard. But this should be an ugly AFC North game. Records out the window. Everybody's back. So we'll see.
It should be a good game. Like you already said, it is important for both these teams. I would imagine losing is probably. I mean, you're getting as close to 0 as you can be.
Losing,
if not 0.
Losing ends it for the Bengals, and it darn near ends it for the Ravens. Yeah, it would not be good.
So, should be a good game. Ravens. It's kind of disappointing to see the Ravens, at least for probably everyone except for yourself.
I'm not disappointed. I'm very happy. Yeah.
I think obviously the Ravens have been close for a long time. And kind of the story of the year is a lot of these teams who have been good or should have been good, just for whatever reason, just fell apart for no real, there's no obvious, oh, this guy is hurt or this guy left in free agency or anything like that. It's just just not performing.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar missed a couple games, but they were losing with him early in the season.
And he's missed games in the past, too.
Yeah,
I think even last year, a few years they've won 12 games. He missed a couple.
Yeah.
Tyler Snoop Huntley Pro Bowl came in and won a couple. So
a couple RG3 appearances in there, I think, too. But yeah, I mean, both teams, Chiefs and Ravens, came into the year with over-unders at 11.5, and both have been locked into their unders for weeks now. So yeah, just oddball seasons there. But I'm not worried. Not in the slightest. I'm worried. Not worried wasn't the word. I'm not upset.
Not disappointed.
Not disappointed.
Don't wish they were good.
Nope. Also, I think it's funny that the Bengals back-to-back years are going to go a time without Burrow or a hurt Burrow just for him to come back and win a bunch of games in a row to finish just, right outside of the playoffs. And it'll be enough of an excuse to where their ownership can still say, Zach Taylor's the guy. All he needs is Burrow for a whole season, and they will be fine again, even though that hasn't happened in upwards of 4 years now. So,
and this year, like last year, there's one game you can pinpoint as if they would have got that one, they probably would have made it. Last year was the Patriots with Burrow at the very beginning of the season. The Patriots were one of the worst teams in the league. They dropped that one for no reason at all. They missed out on the playoffs. Then this year, the Jets game comes to mind. That one would have helped them immensely. A game that they had in their hand and blew it to the Jets. So if the Bengals miss out again, it'll be another one hey, here's one of these games. If it goes your way, you probably would have made it, but you collapsed.
They also lost. And you have no defense. They also lost 48-10 to a Carson Wentz Vikings earlier this year. The Isaiah Rodgers legacy week.
That'll do it. That would have helped. Obviously, the AFC opponent matters more. But
yes. No, you're right. I was just looking at
Carson Wentz.
I was looking at other examples here, seeing if any other.
Freaking what's his face?
Browning.
His first start.
Yeah, Browning's first start where he was just. Yeah, that was pretty Joe Flacco.
Good in the past, and then just completely collapsed for some reason.
Yes.
Probably enough for this game.
Yep. The next one is going to be Cardinals at the Texans. I'll talk for 30 seconds and turn it over to you for the Cardinals part. Obviously, Texans looking good. Just went into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs, eliminating them from the division for the first time in 10 years. Defense number 1 in the league, and it's been that way all year. Their defense has very solid, and C.J. Stroud has come back and looked relatively good, decent, good enough to get wins, which is always important, and really turned that team around, because it kind of felt earlier in the year when he missed those 3 games in a row. It was like, they weren't playing that great leading up to it. I mean, their defense was good, but even then their offense was kind of struggling. C.J. Stroud takes some time off. Maybe it's a little reset, comes back. They start to rattle off some wins, and now they're sitting here in the playoffs right now with an 88% chance to make it. And if and when they do make it, going into the playoffs with the number 1 defense is a very good thing. So they got the Cardinals coming into town. Cardinals not looking good, 3-10 on the year. I heard a lot of talk this week about the whole Michael Wilson stuff and how he's been on the team forever, and they're just now realizing he's wide receiver 1 and really good, and that everybody should get fired. So
he has been doing good, and he has been here a while. I don't know exactly how long, but probably 3 years at least.
He is in year 3. This is his 3rd year.
Okay. So yeah, he's just been sitting there, not really getting much action, and then Brissett takes over. And as soon as Brissett took over, he started getting some passes and some catches. But really, once Marv went down is when he exploded onto the scene. It goes to show a couple of the issues that the Cardinals have, right? It's one, Kyler not distributing, not running the offense, and obviously it's kind of like I don't know what the word is to describe this, but like a double-edged sword, if you will, I suppose. Brissett has visibly, it seems like, running the offense better, but they're still losing. Like, the offense at the same time looks better, but it's not turning into wins. So, who's to say? But as soon as Brissett comes in, you start getting the ball to Michael Wilson, who looks good. Marv had his best
he
game.
He can see downfield.
Exactly.
So.
Trey McBride starts scoring touchdowns. He's like the 7th leading receiver, most receiving yards in the league.
He's a top 3 tight end, and he's not 3.
He's the only tight end in the top 10 of receiving yards this year. Like he's nuts.
I couldn't think of a better tight end off the dome right now.
So I mean, he's one of the best tight ends in the league, if not the best, at least stats wise. And so you're seeing that with Brissett, but also like it's organizational malpractice if you have this guy on the team who has this potential and has this talent to just sit idle essentially for 2.5 years, and then all of a sudden, like he didn't just become good overnight.
No,
usually it's not just magic. There's not much to report from Cardinals land other than everyone is giving up on the team. No one really knows what's going to happen. Do they fire Gannon? I think I mentioned a couple.
They're about to blow it
ago.
up, and just there's not much hope.
We'll see, because it's still not it's not Gannon's guy, Kyler. It's not the GM's guy. So we'll see. And the Cardinals, their longest tenured coach lasted like 4 or 5 years.
Dang.
At least in recent history. So like, I don't know if they want to keep doing that or if they're like trying to change their ways a little bit. But either way, not good. Fans are not. They're hosting a Pokemon Go event at their next home game to try to get people in the building. There's literally like ads, some sort of Pokemon Go.
How cheap could you get a ticket? How cheap could you get a ticket to go if you wanted?
Oh shoot! No, let me look.
Anyway, while you're looking, it's also tough too because they're sitting here at 3-10, and they barely have a top 10 draft pick. If the season ended today, they'd be picking at 8. They out of all the teams that are 3-10, they're the worst because they have like the best strength of schedule or however it's all broken down. They are 8th, so they lose all the tiebreakers to the other 3-10 teams, and then the 3-2-11 teams. So it's not even like they're in premier draft position. where usually in any other year, sitting at 3-10, you're at least top 5. It feels like, I would think.
Real quick, Falcons at Cardinals. This is December 21st. Cheapest ticket, nosebleeds, obviously, $15.
$15 to get in the door.
$15 on Game Time. Not a sponsor, but it could be.
Game Time, hit us up.
Game Time is legit, though. If you need some tickets, check out Game Time. But
I think they
$15 for an NFL game, man.
They pop up on my TikTok. They're like, "Where'd you get these tickets?" And they're like, "Game Time."
Yeah, the Cardinals, the Panthers, like last year or the year before, were selling tickets for like $7 or something crazy like that.
And it's not like you're not going to have the opportunity to walk to a lower section if you were privy to it during that game. There's going to be some openings, I would imagine.
So that is the state of the Cardinals. It's bad. The fan base has given up, deservedly so.
And like I saw a tweet that said next year's not going to be any better, like, for getting fans to want to go into the stadium.
No, because like you mentioned, the draft. First, it's not like they're picking number 1. 2, what quarterback would even be worth like selling out, trading up for if you had to, or even if you got the best quarterback. The best quarterbacks in this draft aren't exactly
not world beaters.
They're not bringing in fans. They're not superstars. At least like talent wise, excitement wise, they might be good.
Like,
we'll see.
Caleb Williams a few years ago was really their chance, and then Josh Dobbs won too many games in the middle of that season.
So yeah, they've got Brissett for another year, so it's likely probably not this coming draft unless something falls in the lap. But the next draft is when they'll have to.
2027, and we'll talk about it all off season. 2026 versus 2027 draft class, but that will be the opportunity for a lot of teams to get some talent infusion. Whoa.
Power went out.
We're back.
Bills.
Yeah. Little Arch Manning moving out to the southwest there. I don't know. A little something. That's probably enough of that. Next one here, Jets at Jaguars. I feel like a lot of the stuff you just said about the Cardinals could be maybe said about the Jets, but they have promise. They're in stage 1 of their rebuild. They've won a couple games. I was talking with Gil about it earlier this year. They've won a couple culture building games, which is always good to have. You don't want to just lose every game ever and get the number 1 seed, but there's nothing built there. They've won a couple close games, like that Justin Fields game in Cincy, a couple ones recently. But now they need to be on Mendoza games. You need to get yourself in position for Mendoza. It just makes the most sense of all the top teams right now that he would be a Jet. I mean, your other teams, while we're on this topic, Vegas is probably going to be in this quarterback discussion. The Giants are sitting there at number 1. They have a quarterback. The Titans are at 3. They have a quarterback. Cleveland's at 4. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. The Saints at 5, they have a quarterback. Washington at 6, they have a quarterback. And then the Jets at 7, with multiple draft picks to trade up. So in a year where there's not many quarterbacks, there's also not that many quarterback-needy teams at the top. But all it takes is one.
You just got to worry about getting jumped.
Yeah, all it takes is one team because, like you said, you got Arizona down there. What if they wanted to make a splash? Minnesota,
the Jets have the most resources to do what they want to do.
They do. Miami, what are they gonna do? I mean, I really it's Vegas up there sitting at number 2 is their real issue. But do they want to draft a quarterback right now? And all right, this website is not making my computer very happy. Do they want to take a quarterback right now with no infrastructure around that quarterback in their first couple of years? So we'll see. But in terms of this one. On the other side, Jaguars, you call them preseason, but they've had a pretty favorable schedule up to this point, but they've been winning those games, sitting in control of the NFC or AFC South right now, 9-4. Could still be caught by the Texans. Definitely not out of it. And then the Colts could still be caught by the Colts, but I think we're all in agreement there. The Colts are kind of dead, unfortunately for them. But sitting in a good spot for them right now are the Jags.
The Jags had a good game last week. We'll see what happens in this game. It theoretically should not be an issue for the Jags. But the Jets always like to win some of these games towards the end of the year. That actively hurts them. And the Jags are the Jags. So we'll see. Trevor Lawrence actually had probably his best game maybe of his career last week.
That's
a lot of good happening. A lot of good happening last week for the Jags. So we'll see. I did pick the Jags to win the division, so I'm very hopeful for them, excited for them. I think Liam Cohen is a good coach. I don't know this to be true. I do think there's probably some underlying tension between Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he likes it.
It's been
not that he doesn't like him. I don't think he does. I don't think he thinks he's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Liam Cohen thinks Trevor Lawrence is good. Because you see, like, all the time, like,
earlier in the
once
year,
a week,
especially. Yeah.
There's, like, a Trevor Lawrence play, and Liam Cohen's on the sideline, like, what are you doing? Like, what was that? So, I don't know. I don't know what the story or the outcome will be of that, but something to monitor. But if they keep winning games, I mean, what can you do? So, we'll see.
I will say, back to the playoff here, the Jags have a favorable end-of-year schedule. They got the Jets this week. They do have to go on the road to Denver in Week 16, so that's a big game. Then they go on the road back to Indy. Like I said, don't know who Indy really is at this point in time, and then they finish with the Titans at home. So even let's say they win three out of those four, beating the Colts, beating the Titans, and beating the Jets this week, that Week 16 game at Denver is super important because Houston, on the flip side, they have the Cardinals this week that we've already touched on. Then Houston hosts Vegas. That's pretty much a win. In Week 18, they host Indianapolis. And then it comes down to Week 17 on the road in LA against the Chargers. If Houston wins all those games, and even if Jacksonville goes 3-1, Houston jumps them. They would both be 12-5. Houston wins the division and gets the third seed. So really, the Jags hold their own destiny. If they win out, they obviously win the division. But even if they win 3 of 4 and drop that to the Denver Broncos, Houston would be able to control their own destiny and win out to win the division. So, and that Houston Chargers matchup at this point in time, for the Chargers really isn't important. Like, they're not going to catch Denver, so they're pretty much locked into the
it's important for them to stay in the playoffs.
In this scenario, if they lose that game, I have them winning a couple of other games that keeps them in, namely beating the Chiefs and beating Dallas.
It's take it easy.
And losing to Denver and losing to Houston, they're still in. So, yeah, it'll be a good one. And this game, though, Jets-Jags won't be good. It'll be Jags, but the rest of the year.
Even in that scenario, the Jags would make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real worry that the Jags miss the playoffs. I mean, they're sitting there at a 97% chance to make the playoffs. So it's not make it or not make it. At 9-4, they're pretty much in. It's just where they end up. Are they going to host a game? Or are they going to go on the road? Right now, they would host the Bills, which is not exactly the scenario you want to find yourself in.
Tough draw.
Next one, Chargers-Chiefs. Chargers on the road, going to Kansas City in Arrowhead. We've talked a little bit about this.
We pretty much talked about this
one. Yeah. So
this kicked off the playoff simulator.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Big game for the Chiefs mostly.
Yeah. And then Bills, Patriots. Did we dive too much into this one? I feel like we didn't.
We mentioned it in the game of the week, but not really.
Yeah, so Bills, Patriots is the next one. Bills going on the road to New England. Bills sitting at 9-4, Patriots at 11-2. Again, the importance here, Bills still just making sure they make the playoffs. I don't think they're really scared about it. They're 9-4, 96% chance. They're not going to catch Denver, who's 11-2 right now, in theory. The Bills would have to catch the Patriots, who are 11-2. So this game is important to them, but I don't even. We ran through some of the scenarios before we jumped on, and it really is unlikely that the Bills catch the Patriots, given who every team is playing here the rest of the way. But nonetheless, it is a big game against two playoff teams, and I think it's going to be a barometer for where these teams are at. Because really, once you get into this part of the season, if you're playing a playoff team, it really does start to feel like a playoff atmosphere. So, and right now, the way my playoff seeds are falling, Buffalo could easily finish 11-6, and they would go on the road to New England in round one to the 2 seed Patriots.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, hard to beat a team 3 times. Hard to beat them twice. Very hard to beat a team 3 times. Next one, Commanders at Giants, 3-10 versus 2-11. I think Gil maybe had mentioned it. It's a tankathon watch right now. Washington would have the 6th pick. The Giants right now have the number 1 pick. So, number 1 pick for a non-quarterback needy team could provide them with some very good value. So,
sure could, but it's crazy because the Giants, of all the teams you would consider the worst in the league, I would say the Giants have had the most flashes of being pretty decent.
Good. Yeah.
So very interesting, but I think this game, I mean, there's nothing important about this game other than who's going to have a better draft pick.
And you would really think
and
like
the
Daniels
Giants alive.
Yeah. It is surprising how bad the Giants actually are, considering they don't feel bad, and their defense is still like really good on paper. They haven't really played that well.
Line.
The defensive line, yes.
They also don't have any wide receivers other than Wando Robinson right now.
That is true, and a lot of mocks, including myself this morning, I mocked them a wide receiver this morning.
Over Carnell Tate is interesting. Was it
Malachi
Lemon or something like that? Or
Malachi Lemon, he is a very he's a very favored wide receiver right now. Obviously, the wide receiver breakdown will probably come in the offseason from Party Chat Sports, but different styles there. I think Carnell Tate feels Malik Neighbors adjacent in terms of like route running and stuff. I don't know. I don't know enough about Carnell Tate. I don't think, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't think anything else here is super important.
I don't need anything to do. Like, I don't care about the Commanders or the Giants the rest of the season, other than when they play the Eagles. Very interested then. Obviously, they still have to play the Cowboys as well one more time. But need a Jaden Daniels masterclass against the Eagles next week.
Probably not going to happen because Jaden Daniels has been playing like he's got toothpicks for limbs.
It's going to happen.
Okay.
Destiny.
The NFC East doesn't lie. Speaking of the Eagles, they are hosting the Raiders this week. The Raiders, when you think of the worst teams in the league, quickly get to the top of that list. They are awful, truly, in every sense of the word. Why they picked a running back in the first round, I'll still never get over it. They ruined what could have been so fun for a couple of other teams. Imagine Genty in the Monangai role right now for Chicago. I'm just saying.
Genty on Chicago, they're still the 1 seed.
Yeah, probably. DeAndre Swift probably is not. Cam said it last week. Like Swift plus Monangai is like RB4. That would just be Genty if he was on the Bears. He would be RB4. Instead, he's wasting away in Margaritaville, Vegas. They're bad.
Margaritaville and Vegas closed, so it's probably
that's
not there.
A bummer, man. That's a bummer. Kenny Pickett might even start this game. Fans have been calling for it in Vegas. Like the 5 fans that are out there.
Whoever it is, I need you to win.
Yeah, I would hope, for your sake, it's Kenny, because Kenny actually has something to prove. He's basically anytime he starts a game, he's fighting for his NFL career, whether it's a backup or another like bridge starting opportunity. And he would have it all to play for. And Geno feels like he's playing for nothing.
Sling it to Bowers.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
He ripped it, man. He was ripping it in those
Max
last
Crosby
2 drives.
legacy game. We need that.
3 turnovers on one play from Jalen Hurts.
So drafting running back, at least in the first round, is only beneficial if you have an offensive line.
If you're elite. Running backs are luxuries, but good teams have luxuries. So
that's a good statement. The offensive line can help boost a running back, but a running back cannot boost an offensive line.
Unless you're like Hall of Famer talent. Like Barry Sanders.
Maybe.
Type stuff.
Probably.
Le'Veon Bell, when he was just bobbing and weaving between everybody. But
he was just standing back there.
Yeah, just waiting. That's probably enough of that one, though. We'll see how ugly the Philly offense looks. We'll see. Another good game, the 425 slate. Green Bay on the road against Denver.
Hold on. We completely glossed over the fact that Jalen Hurts had 5 turnovers.
I mentioned the 2-on-1 play, but okay. Yeah, it was awful. I want
to make sure that's stated. 4 interceptions. First player ever to have 2 turnovers on the same play.
Minus 4 fantasy points.
Yeah, minus 4. He finished the night with, I think, 0.5 total points.
Fantasy. He's not good. And Philly fans, unfortunately, don't know ball because they just have blinders on no matter what.
They're just spamming the Super Bowl right now on social media because they're getting clowned by every single person. Not even like most of the time it's Cowboys and other NFC East. Now it's like fans of all these other teams joining in, so it's great. And they're just spamming like, "Oh, he's Super Bowl champion." Blah, blah, blah. That's all right, man. Whatever. There's a lot of bad quarterbacks that have Super Bowl championships. So
I now hate Philly for signing Schwarber from the Reds. So
you should have hated him before.
I do. I mean, it's the Reds' fault since he's a cheap town, unfortunately, when it comes to their sports spending. That's a video for another day. Okay. Yeah, he's a running back that plays quarterback.
Correct.
And got bailed out a lot by his receivers last season.
The happiness bunny did not work. Whatever that was.
I don't know. It was like a blow-up thing that they had in the locker room or something. Yeah.
The online installed the positivity rabbit or something in the freaking locker room.
The positivity rabbit, yes.
Easter bunny for some reason. Yeah, it didn't work.
Packers Broncos in Denver. 2 good teams. Jordan Love, though, not good. I've been saying this for a while. He just if his duck balls, huh?
It's Toyota-thon, though.
That could be the difference. If his duck balls are getting caught in the middle of the field, he's good.
Yeah, so obviously the Broncos defense has the tools to make it a hard game for Jordan Love, but on the flip side, Bo Nix is not good either.
No, but and this is who he was in college. He was a system quarterback in college. That's why he had a really high completion percentage, whether it was hitting the dump off when it was there, this, that, and the other. Like he's operating exactly how Sean Payton wants him to operate. It's like a Drew Brees light. He's just hitting his spots where he needs to. That also means he's not like it's such a hard thing to quantify because Broncos fans are going to be like, he's 11-2.
He's the Jamarcus Russells of Drew Brees. Don't ever disrespect Drew Brees like that again.
Yeah, that's fine. Drew Brees is a GOAT. So I just said it because of the Sean Payton thing. Okay,
yeah,
I'm not saying Bo Nix is Drew Brees. I don't know, man. Because people are going to say he's 11-2. He's doing great, but like.
People are definitely saying that.
People were saying Kenny Pickett has a winning record, and then they were looking at his stats and how he has more interceptions than touchdowns. So it's just a tough eval. I think the team around him is built very nice, and Sean Payton, an offensive mind, is doing what he can.
I should say I don't actually think Bo Nix is like terrible. I just don't think he's like. I don't think he's great.
Fall in my quarterback thing that I did.
I also don't think their offense. I don't like the Broncos' offense and how it's constructed.
Bo Nix finished 20th in my QB ranking thing that I did a few weeks ago. Which, he's not top 10. Denver fans might get all Philly about it and say he is. He's not. He's not. Would you rather have Bo Nix or Jared Goff or Trevor Lawrence or Baker Mayfield? Like,
why would you do that to me?
Or Brock?
Toss up.
I would take Trevor Lawrence out of that group.
I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
Okay.
Either way, like going back to the Trevor Lawrence actually relates. I'm not ready to make a clarification or a declaration on Bo Nix in one way or the other. It's year 2.
Yes.
So let's wait and see.
He is. Let me put Bo Nix on the tracker for the 4,000 yards. Let's see what he's at.
That's a good one.
He's 11th in the league in yards with 2,954.
I wouldn't have guessed.
He's not on 4K pace either, but it's surprisingly similar to Caleb Williams. Bo Nix has got 19 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. I'll just look up Caleb Williams real quick just to get the touchdown to INT ratio. Caleb Williams has also got 19 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions.
Wow, look at that.
So a little nice little comparison right there, I think.
How many does Drake May have?
Drake May is currently sitting out here coming off a bye, so I think his extra game is no longer being accounted for. I think they're all even. 3,400 yards, second in the league, 23 touchdowns to 6 interceptions.
It's pretty good.
So hand and fist above the rest. He's on pace for 4,500 yards.
Look at him go.
Sorry, Gil.
Real quick, how many did Jaden Daniels have last year?
Jaden Daniels last year had 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Passing.
Probably a decent amount on the ground as well. But okay.
On the ground.
I'm not worried.
I'm already there.
Ground.
I'm already here.
Just, okay.
He had 891, almost 1,000-yard rushing season.
Okay.
7th in MVP.
Interesting class to keep an eye on. Again,
J.J. McCarthy.
Year two, can't make any declarations.
J.J. McCarthy just recently hit 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Wow, heater. He's a little bit far away from the good season.
Picked
30 touchdowns
overall.
and what was it? 30 and 10? Was that
30
it?
and
Was
10.
that the good season? Yeah.
30 and 10 was the good season that came.
A little bit of ways away. Almost, he's at the interception mark. So he checked that one
was it
off.
30 and 5? I thought it was 30 and 5.
Was it 30 and 5?
It might have been 30 and 5. He's like, that'd be a good season.
Well, 30 and 10 is bad. So he missed.
9
missed
and
the
10.
mark.
9 and 10 is horrible.
He still has 4 games left. He could do it.
Vikings could have had Bo Nix.
Yes.
Wonder where they would be if they had Bo Nix, if the things were a little different.
I don't know.
Deep questions being asked an hour into the pod here. Where did we leave off? Oh, no, Packers Broncos. Yeah, it should be a good game though. Packers Broncos. That's what we were talking about.
Should be.
Excuse me. Already discussed Lions Rams. We got Panthers on the road against the Saints. Panthers 7-6, playing for the division right now, so playing well, I would say, for Panthers standards. Saints coming off a win against the Buccaneers, though. You never really know when it's the NFC South. So Saints sitting there at 3-10. This game will be on the TV.
There was some people that picked the Panthers to win the division, and I thought that was dumb. I apologize to those people.
That's good. Good on you. Good on you for standing up for them. Another 420. There's a lot of 425 games for some reason. None of them are 4 o'clock, like the 4:05. They're all 425.
There's no 405, not a single one?
All 5 of them are 425. Colts Seahawks is the next one. This one is in Seattle. Colts making news today, signing 44-year-old Phillip Rivers to the team.
The practice squad.
To the practice squad. Just to put that into perspective, Troy Polamalu's 44. There's some other names that I can't think of off the top of my head that are also 44. But
how old's Tom Brady? 43, 42, something like that?
I think he's older. Tom Brady's 48.
Tom Brady's 48?
Tom Brady's 48.
Holy smokes, dude. He just played like 2 years ago.
Yeah, he played 45. His last year, I think he was 45. But let's not pretend like Phillip Rivers is out here moving around like Tom Brady.
No.
He's not, okay?
That's crazy. Kind of forgot.
Yeah, I mean, and then you got like people like Todd Gurley that are 31. Amari Cooper, 31.
Yeah, obviously
for years.
Different positions, of course, but some interesting notes about Phillip Rivers. One, he's a grandfather, so that's funny. Probably there can't be that many grandfathers to have played in the NFL. Probably some like dudes way back in the day.
You sound like a robot, so I hope that's not going to be an issue.
That's probably not good.
It just changed. Maybe hit the mute and unmute button.
Did it change for the better or the worse?
Worse.
What do you mean?
Now you're frozen. So.
That could be a you problem, I hope.
Okay. I'm sure
I just
that'll
won't say anything. You finish.
Sure yeah, we're close anyway. So Colts Seahawks, just to finish on that one. Yeah, who are the Colts? Who's going to be quarterback for the Colts? You're not frozen anymore, so it might be fixed. Seahawks, though, 10-3, fighting for that number 1 seed, as we've discussed, a game that they need to be winning. Titans on the road against the 49ers. Titans getting their second win of the season against the Cleveland Browns. Hilarious. But 49ers sitting at 9-4. This game will probably be decided by 20 points, maybe 15. In San Francisco, Cam Ward's good. He's shown flashes. The Titans' organization is horrible. Their coaches are horrible. Nobody else on the team is good. It's probably all that needs to be said about that.
Jeffrey Simmons is good.
Yes, he is. You are fixed, by the way. You got HD clarity. Okay. Your voice is good. Just in time, because Vikings, Cowboys, and then I haven't even talked about the Steelers yet. So.
Wow. Vikings, Cowboys. What is there to say? What isn't there to say about this game? One, Cowboys are still alive, especially with the Eagles' loss last night to the Chargers. So obviously must-win game to stay alive. As Cam put in the Twitter chat, Vikings are also technically alive. I don't know what kind of miracles you need to happen for that to play out, but
I'm looking at the playoff machine right now, and I don't know. They would have to win out. Oh my! I'll play with this for a second. And I'll tell you what.
JJ had a good game last week. There's no denying that. Give him his flowers. The Commanders are also very bad on defense. I will say, Cowboys are not much better. DB-wise, defensive line obviously much better. So I think this week for the Vikings to win, they will need JJ to throw the ball. The Cowboys' defensive line, even as you saw against the Lions, is good against the run now. That they are a good run defense. So you'll need JJ to throw the ball. Last week, Cowboys against the Lions, you saw the Lions pretty much abandon the run. Not entirely. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs scored a couple, but they were shorter. He didn't have his normal rushing yardage. Most of his yardage came from receiving because the Lions knew that they could attack the DBs in the middle of the field and avoid the defensive line. So for the Vikings to be successful, they'll need to do a similar game plan. I don't doubt that Kevin O'Connell can come up with some sort of scheme like that, but can JJ execute it? That is yet to be seen. So I think it will be a good game. And then again for the Cowboys, on their offensive side of the ball. One of the best offenses in the league. We'll see if I haven't really heard any updates on CD. I think he's doing pretty well considering how bad it looked. So we'll see if he's going. If not, obviously you got George Pickens and freaking Ryan Flanoy, who's amazing, apparently. So going up against a defense who has been vulnerable at times and has also looked pretty good at other times. So, and Brian Flores led Vikings defense. So it'll be interesting to see which one of those defenses you see. Is it the one that let Hurts pass for like 300 some yards, or is it one that blanked the Commanders? So it should be a good game, obviously, just for bragging rights and things like that, without all the other playoff implications. It'll be a good time.
I found the way that it would require Minnesota to get into this thing. Chicago would have to lose out. Detroit would have to lose out, except for the game they play Chicago. Green Bay, it doesn't matter what they do. Dallas would have to lose twice. Carolina or Tampa Bay would have to lose 3 times. And then Minnesota would obviously have to win out. It's a lot. It's less than 1%. It's not going to happen. It's less than 1%. So
that is not going to happen.
So, yeah.
But it is technically possible. So,
Yeah, for one more week at least. Are we ready for the Monday night game?
Yeah.
Monday night, Miami come into town to take on the Steelers. Steelers will be in their color rush uniforms, which is important in a primetime game. Stars are aligning on that one from that aspect. But, really big-time game against Baltimore this past weekend. There's a lot of refs crying going on.
They did steal a touchdown.
That was not a touchdown according to the way the rule is written currently, but I think the rule needs to be changed.
According to the way it's officiated at that point in time.
That according to the rule. According to the rule. If that catch and drop was made in the field of play, they would not have called it a fumble. So, and then the Rodgers thing, where he caught his own pass, people just ignoring that his knees were down. It's the Baltimore Twitter has been exploding with no logic being applied, trying to compare the two. But Tomlin said it best in his presser today. He said you're not gonna find me calling New York to get any answers on officiating decisions because it doesn't matter anymore because they've been called. Each team had a chance to rectify those calls, and the way Tomlin put it is you want to not let the refs decide the game. You want to make stops when you need to make stops, score when you need to score, and not leave it up to the decision, those type of decisions, which is inevitably going to happen. But nonetheless, here we are. So Steelers walk out of there with a W. Rodgers playing the best game he's played all year, throwing for nearly 300 yards, couple of tutties, ran one in, discount double check as well. Tomlin did the discount double check as well. This doesn't change my opinion on Tomlin because it's the same old stuff. They'll scrape into the playoffs, whether it's 9-8, winning the division. You'll host a team, you'll probably lose in the first round, and we'll be right back to where we started. It's not going to change. This one game has not changed my outlook. Is it nice to beat the Ravens? Of course it is. I will beat the Ravens every day of the week, and I would live my life happily. But it really doesn't change the outcome of this team. The defense was still let up over 200 yards of rushing, which at least we've made a good first-round pick because Derek Harmon on the field versus off the field, anytime he's off the field, the Steelers average about 100 more rushing yards let up per game. That's pretty insane, if you ask me, but the proof's in the pudding. He's a great player. I hope he comes back soon. Steelers have Dolphins, Lions, Browns, Patriots to end the year. A couple winnable games, couple losable games. For this one in particular on Monday night against the Dolphins, against Tua, they typically play well against McDaniels. That McDaniels doesn't have too many opened up schemes and things, and they usually are able to lock it up. Minka revenge game though, that will be something to watch out for. Maybe put a anytime interception on your parlays this week for that. But the $1 billion defense is like 25th ranked or something this year. It's historically bad in a couple of different areas. The offense still isn't, a well-oiled machine. Although on Sunday it proved they can beat anybody. So it is, it's the typical Steelers stuff. 9-8, loading. It's so obvious at this point. We're going to finish 9-8 and probably win the division at 9-8, which in and of itself is crazy. But here we are. So.
The Dolphins, real quick. They every time I see them on the TV, it's just Chan running for a lot of yards.
Who is questionable this week?
So I couldn't even tell you how Tua's doing or the rest of the team. It's just Chan, 30-yard rushing touchdown.
Tua. Let's just look at Tua stats because we were looking at quarterback stats recently. This year, Tua is thrown for 2,400 yards, which is 500 less than Caleb Williams. He's got 18 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. His QBR is 28th. Not that QBR is a perfect stat,
how have his interceptions been recently, though? Because there was a few early games that were like terrible.
He had back-to-back weeks of 3 in weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In weeks 6 and 7, he had 3 back-to-back. Last week against the Jets, it was 0, but the Jets don't pick off anybody.
Yeah, they have like 1 turnover all year.
Against the Saints, he threw for 157 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. Against the Commanders, he threw for 171, nothing and nothing. Against the Bills, he threw for 173, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Against the Ravens, he threw for 261, no touchdowns, a pick. You got to go all the way back to the Falcons, 205 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. And then the 3.
So he's not really doing that good. He's throwing less.
He has not thrown for over 200 yards since October. And he's thrown for 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions since October.
Not good.
So, Chan or bust. Steelers, though, can't stop the run. So I hope Derek Harmon's back. That's all I can say. But Monday Night Football, I'll be watching. I don't know that many other people will be watching, though, to be honest.
It's not exactly a captivating Monday night matchup.
Not really.
Important for the Steelers in the AFC North, but can't say it'll be exciting.
A game I would love for them to just win by 14, get Caleb Johnson some handoffs late in the fourth quarter because the game's already over.
Kind of a hilarious score to choose.
Win by 14?
Yeah.
I was going to say 10, but 14.
That's even more.
10 felt too close.
I feel like 20.
Winning by 20?
By 20.
I don't know that that's even a possibility.
For the Steelers,
I haven't seen the Steelers will be winning by 20 in 4 years.
Well, I was going to say, the Cowboys probably can't do that either because our defense is so bad. So I can't say anything.
I can't remember the last. There's been one game this year where at the end of it, I was like, oh, you know what? There's 8 minutes left and the Steelers are going to win. This is great. And I just was able to enjoy it. That was when we played the Browns and won by like 14, 15. They just don't. They haven't operated like that in 5 years. So
win by 14 is good. It's good.
Yeah, it won't happen though. So we'll see.
It might.
All right, I think that's a wrap. We're about an hour and 13 minutes in. So like
only a couple weeks left.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the witching hour of the NFL season. So maybe Gil will make that the title. That'd be cool. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed. For more Party Chat Sports content coming your way. Comment down below if you have any thoughts or if you think we're stupid. Let us know. That's always fun to engage with. And then subscribe for more Party Chat Sports content. We got videos coming out every week. In off season, we'll bring a lot of draft content coming your way. So stick around. And, that's it.
Peace.
Peace.